Okay, now we're going to get into gluing the Easyboot Fury Glue-On. And so the thing with gluing, and we feel like we've kind of perfected the techniques over the last 10 years. So Easyboot Glue-Ons have won the Tevis Cup, the hardest 100-mile race in the world, the last 8 of 10 years. And they've won the Hagen Cup the last 9 of 10 years. So we got a really good technique. And the key is you got to follow the technique and go through the steps. Gluing is all about the right tools, prepping the foot, keeping things clean, and using the same methods every time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the methods that we use to be successful. Follow these methods, don't skip anything, and you will also have success. So the first thing you're going to need is a sharp rasp. You're going to want a wire brush. You're going to want a torch. And you're going to want a drill with a Buffy sleeve. And I recommend using the 60 grit Buffy. The other thing we recommend with the prep is to always use rubber gloves. The last thing is, once you do the prep, we recommend using our Easyboot Zip product to keep the foot clean while you're working on your glue. Last thing that's super important is the Fury Glue-On boots come in a bag. They come in a bag for a reason. It's really critical they are kept in a bag all the way up into the point where you glue. What happens with most people, they get their new glue-on boots, they take them out. We have oils, we have lotion, we have things on our hands, and people start taking them and feeling the boot. Oh, this is really neat, it's flexible. But what happens is you're introducing oils inside of the shell where your glue is critical to bond. So keep your boots in a bag, keep them clean, and don't put fingers on them without gloves. So those are all your tools. The next thing we're going to go into is we're going to go into prep, and we'll show you the prep techniques next. Okay, now we're going to show you how to put the tools to use we just described in our prep step. So you need the correct tools first of all. Next is prep. And so the prep is the most critical thing in gluing. So what we want to try to do is we want to get the foot clean, we want to get it rough, and then we want to get it dry. And once we do all those things, we recommend using our Easyboot Zip product to keep it clean and dry while you're waiting for the glue. So I like to start with, first, you want to make sure you have a well-trimmed foot. You want to make sure the boot fits on the foot. And I'll first start with a wire brush on the sole area, just to make sure we don't have any dirt. So I'm just going to knock out any dirt. Use the hoof pick in to take off. So we're fairly clean there. And when we're talking about glue-on shells, we're really doing the majority of our gluing up around the dorsal wall. So we will use a packing inside on certain products. He has nice concavity, and we'll show you the last step on how to come in and do a pour in. So we're done there. So I like to start with a Buffy. And so Buffy is a product that has an air bladder inside. This is a 60 grit sandpaper. And what happens is I like to get this turning away from me, so this is pushing dirt off the foot. So what this is doing is two things. This is roughing the foot, and it's cleaning the foot in the same step. So you can see the material coming off the foot. And you can see how rough that's also getting. You want to go all the way around. We don't want to take too much material. All we're trying to do is take the outside off, take the dirt off, roughen it at the same time. We're pretty good there. I'll get the heel on this side. And you can see with that 60 grit paper, we've really roughened this up nice. The next thing I like to do is take my rasp and just add a little bit more texture. And I'm going to use the side here of the rasp. And I'm just going to go around and add a little more tooth and texture to the foot. And what this does is it gives the glue a lot of peaks and valleys to adhere to. If we looked at this under a microscope, you'd see a lot of little canyons and peaks for all that glue to settle into. And again, through all these steps, you can see I'm using gloves. I don't want to introduce the oils from my hands to the foot. So we're done there. So the next thing we want to do is, this is clean, but the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take the moisture out. So I'm going to start with my torch, and I just want to go around. I'm not trying to burn it. I'm just trying to take any surface moisture out. So I'll do it once. I'll come in with you can see that we still have a little bit of dust coming off the foot. And so this technique, this last thing I like to do it 3 times. Just because if we don't take that dust off, what happens is we're gluing to that. We're not gluing to foot, we're gluing to the dust. And so I found that with 3 times around, with your torch and with a wire brush, you get rid of all your dust. So what we want to do by the 3rd time, we want to make sure we don't see any dust coming off the foot at all. So that's 2. And this might seem excessive, but when you're racing for 100 miles and you want to ensure product stays on, this 3rd time and the 20 or 30 seconds it takes is no time at all. So last time around, so I'm pretty happy. I'm not seeing any dust come off. And we're prepped. And so the other thing you'll notice is through this whole time, I haven't set the hoof down. I like to come back in one last time with a rasp, so we haven't touched the ground. I'm just gonna pull off any dirt on the sole. Got a little area here I missed with the Buffy. So now we're totally dry. So I don't want to set this foot down. We want to use our zip product. And what this has a leather pad inside. And so what this does is this will help us take off any moisture. It'll also keep our work dry and clean as we're getting our glue together. And what I typically like to do is I like to do 2 front feet at a time. So I've already prepped the right front. Now we're prepped here. Now we can take the time to get our glue ready and situated. Cyclone's standing nice here with Easyboot zips on. The nice thing about this, we don't have to worry about him getting his feet dirty. This could be out in a dirty field. This could be tied to a trailer in dirt. And this prep's done. So when we get back to him, we'll pick up his foot. It'll never touch the ground before we slip on the glue on. So my preferred glue when gluing both our Easyboot Glue-On shell and the Fury Glue-On is VetTech Adhere. It works really well with our urethane. This is a urethane glue. Our shell is also urethane. They like each other. They bond well together. So first thing you want to do is pull it out of your bag. The new cartridges, one of the VetTech reps, Larkin Green, showed me this trick. They come with a new seal, and I was cutting that seal off and I wasn't doing it correctly. So what they recommend at VetTech is to take this, bump it slightly. That pushes down your tip. That opens up both sides of your plunger. So next thing we're going to do is we want to take this and we want to put it in our gun. And then this is a critical step here. So I always have a piece of cardboard around. You can see my barn floor. Didn't always get this done, but we want to purge material. We want to wait till both sides are coming out. This is super critical. A lot of people will not do that, and then the first time they put this on the foot, it's not bonding well. So I'll get both sides coming out. And then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put my tip on. So tip's ready. Now I'm going to find my shell. So my shell is still in a plastic bag. It's still clean, it's still dry. I haven't taken my fingers, I haven't touched it. I've moved to a little bit lighter glove because these gloves will get glue on them and I'll throw them away. So shell's going to come out. Every one of our Fury products comes with a nice application guide. What we've tried to do with our new is do everything via video. So I know Cyclone wears a 1.5. I've done the fit kit, and so now we're ready to glue. So the other thing we got to remember on this product is we're a little long here. So if you want to do any length adjustments to your shell, you can do that first, or you can wait till you get it on and you can come in later and nip this off. So I'm going to do the later method on him. And so you'll notice the inside of the shell is rough. It's ready to accept the VetTech Adhere material. So first thing I want to do is, horse is ready. He's standing here. If you got a horse that's not as cooperative as Cyclone, get a holder. So he's ready. The zip's ready. First thing I'm going to do, so once you start dispensing glue through your tip, you have roughly 90 seconds to get it on the boot and get the boot on the horse. If it's warm outside, you probably have 60 seconds. So that intimidates a lot of people, but the nice thing about the 90 seconds and 60 seconds when it's warm is that the boots go on quick, they're secure quickly. You can move on to the next one. So keep that in mind. If you don't feel like you can do it in 60 to 90 seconds, practice first and then start using the glue. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to purge a little bit of material through the tip. And so usually for me, you can see that first bit of material is a little gray. It's almost a little bit different texture. That's not mixed well. So you want to get it mixing well. Once it starts mixing well, I'll tilt this aside. Hopefully we can see in here with the camera. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put an even bead around the shell. We don't want to put it all the way to the bottom. We want to leave about a 1/4 inch gap towards the bottom. So I'm going all the way around to the heels. Again, I'm trying to show so we can see what's going in. I'm squeezing with my right hand and I'm using the tip to kind of smear material. Go all the way around the heel. So we're done there. I'm going to set this down. I'm going to come back over to our zip. I'm not going to let the foot down. This is still clean. Now I'm going to take my shell and I want to pull it on as far as I can. We're going to set it down. The last thing I like to do that dresses the shell very nice is I'll come back in and I'm going to put a bead around the top all the way around. And what this does is it's more cosmetic than anything, but when you get done gluing our shells, you can go back and really see how polished they are. So this helps you polish it up. It also prevents water from running down, starting to, and getting inside the shell. So I'm going to go around all the way to the heel, both sides. And the last thing I'll do, and then one of the reasons why I like using a throwaway glove, is I'll just feather this slightly at this point, because then there's less for me to do with the Buffy last step. And so we've got all the way around here. And what we want to try to do at this point is, Cyclone's had boots on a lot, and he's a pretty chill guy, but if you had a horse that was moving around a lot, what I would do at this point is we want to get the opposite foot weight bearing. So if we get this foot weight bearing, he can't move here. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll pick up opposite and I'll hold for roughly 60 to 90 seconds for the glue to set up. So as that's setting, we'll talk about kind of the next step. So cosmetically, I don't like this bead. We'll come in and we'll finish up our last step. But the boot fits really nice. It's kind of a natural extension of his foot. You can see our heel length. We can kind of come back in later if we want to shorten it. But the last step is we'll come back in with a Buffy, clean this up, dress it and it will look like almost an extension of his foot. So the last step in the glue-on process is cleaning it up, making it look good. We want a really fine, polished product when we leave. We want everything to be seamless. We want to be able to run your finger up and down and really not feel the glue-on shell. So we use the Buffy again, and what we're trying to do is just blend hoof wall to glue to shell, clean everything up, make it look polished when you're done. So again, we'll start with the Buffy. We want the glue to, give the glue about 10 minutes to dry. It'll finish a lot better. So what we're doing here is I'm just finishing that lip. I'm just trying to kind of really get a seamless transition. I want to go all the way around. It's just heel area over here. I like just to wipe off all the last remnants here. Where's my... So we end up with is a really nice polished look. We got a nice transition between hoof, glue, and shell. Everything's removed. When you set the foot down, I mean, when you look at this horse, you really don't think we have anything on him. We have a natural extension to his hoof. We got the cushioning. And the last step we could do, kind of, it's a personal preference, but we can come in now and we can add any sole packing. So we can do this through the heel portion, or the other way to do it is to drill 2 holes and add your hoof packing. And that's a personal preference. I like to add packing. I like to either use Sikaflex. If you use Sikaflex, we recommend taking a roll of duct tape and putting it here so you don't lose the Sikaflex, or VetTech EquiPack Soft. The nice thing about EquiPack Soft is it sets in about 90 seconds. And so that's about all we have, and looks great on the foot, and I'd put my name on that one. Looks good.